Hey everybody, it's John. I need to make a quick announcement before we share with you guys part 5 of the video series. I tried putting in the various XML and Google Sheets formulas in the descriptions of YouTube. Unfortunately, because there were some special characters in the various formulas, it wouldn't allow me to put everything in there the way that I wanted. So I came up with a solution, and that was to just move everything over to our website. So chasingmajors.com as well. In the description below, I do promise you there is a hyperlink that will take you exactly to the page that you need to go to. But if you just happen to navigate over to chasingmajors.com under our blogs, this very top one, and scroll all the way down, you are going to see this section for reference formulas and XPath information. I think you guys can probably figure it out from here, but based upon video number 2, this was the XPath information. Video 3, here's the XPath information. And then for the various formulas, video part 2, here are the various formulas that we ran in that specific video, so on and so forth. Wanted to let you guys know something that was out of my control, but that said, you guys are here to watch part 5. Let me get you over to that video now. Hey everybody, my name is John. Thanks for checking out the video. This is part 5 of the video series where we are pulling eBay sales item data, or just eBay data in general, into Google Sheets to be able to do data analysis and to make ourselves more effective buyers and sellers. Throughout this video series, we have been kind of focusing our queries around sports cards. I've mentioned this in all other videos, I believe. I'm going to mention it in this. You do not have to do this just for sports cards. You can change your input variables to whatever your niche or whatever it is that you're looking to query or buy on eBay. Much like the last video, I have taken a couple of liberties and built some information. So feel free, once we kind of quickly go through these, to pause the video and get caught up. And if you aren't, I forget which card I left out on. So if you guys are trying to follow along literally as we go along, make sure that you have the 1954 Topps Hank Aaron card number 128 in a grade 3 listed as the example. And with that, let's go ahead and get started on the bottom section. So the bottom section, where we left off, essentially all of this information is now built. Video 1, we pulled over the count. Video 2, we pulled over the average price, the high price and low price. And then the last video, we pulled over the last price, the last 7, 14, 30, 60, 90. And then we created some trending information to let us know if the card was increasing or decreasing in value. So this is very useful and something I'm looking at with any and all purchases. The included shipping information, those are just kind of denoting that those are included shipping. One thing that I have added since the last video, kind of behind the scenes here, is just a reference that we are going to create a hyperlink. That hyperlink will take you to the page to show you the 8 sold items. I find that super helpful from time to time. I've also went ahead and just added in a couple of rows. If you don't know how to open or add a row, you simply right-click on the row number, and you can insert above or below. So I've opened up a few extra rows to fit in the for sale PSA graded information. I've also created these headers, right? So these will be the for sale or currently pending sale, and everything below here is now the sold items or completed items. Feel free to name them as you feel, as you see fit. I'm just calling them the sold items PSA graded, since we were talking about PSA graded cards, and for sale PSA graded. We will pull in a count. So how many are available on eBay for us to purchase? And then we will pull in the current lowest, either auction, buy it now price, whatever that is, it will get pulled over. So if it's an auction, you may see on a card like this, let's say one got posted for 99 cents at auction with 7 days left in the auction, it will show that it's for sale for 99 cents. And that'll give you an option by clicking this hyperlink to go to the page and quickly make a bid or put it in your watch list, whatever you're going to do. Okay. So I think we are caught up. Feel free to pause, add the rows. Oh, the last thing I've done is just add a gray bar here. And this gray bar is just going to be for visual. And the way how you can think of this is everything above the gray bar are your inputs, and everything below the gray bar are the outputs that we're getting directly from eBay. So there's no major purpose here, though we may actually hide some stuff here in the gray bar. We'll do that here in a moment. And then, when we're done with this, and some folks, if you're not into the sports card side of things and you're doing this, you're watching this video series just from an eBay perspective, you're a buyer and a seller, but maybe maybe you're into Pokemon cards, or maybe you are into, Beanie Babies or whatever, dolls or whatever, Barbies and things like that, whatever you're buying and selling. Today might be the last video. Part 6 of the video will be more sports card related centric information. If you watch the demonstration video, we pulled a chart together where it was the item that was for sale, and then in the grade, and then a half grade below and a full grade below, and what those prices were, and then the half grade above and full grade above. So that's what video number 6 is going to be. Feel free to check that out. We'll have that posted in the next couple of days. And then for the folks that this will be the last time that they're watching the video series, one of the things I like to do, just to give this an overall better aesthetic, is to remove the grid lines, right? So at some point, the eBay sold data, this page will be never touched again, right? Like there's not a ton of reason for you to touch it, unless of course you want to add information here. But generally there's not going to be a reason for you to have to come in and manipulate these pages. So you can, you'll fully be just launching this page when you want to use this scripting and tool. And I like to just disable the grid lines. Just gives it a cleaner, makes it look more like an actual app. So, but for now, let's go ahead, and I'm going to keep those on. Feel free to keep yours off if that's what you choose. All right, so let's jump in. We're going to pull over the count and lowest information. This is going to be super quick, super easy. You're going to be shocked at just how easy this is. But let's come over here. We are in the eBay data. I named it eBay example eBay data. I've added in the sold. Feel free to add in. You can manipulate this. It's not going to harm the sheet. So you can change this. We could remove the example. But for right now, I've just got it as eBay sold data. And the reason why I added the sold in there is I'm going to call the next sheet eBay pending data, or probably pending data. And you're saying, wait 1 second, a third sheet. We haven't talked about a third sheet. Well, I did mention in prior videos that the XML queries, we want to segregate as many of these XML queries, because they can be a little bit of a churn, and they can slow down, and some of that slow may be your internet connection. It could be eBay and the far side. It can be your computer, and the processing speeds of your computer. So there's multiple factors of why when you put in these search variables, why it may slow down how quickly the information is extracted back to you. And one of the things that I found is limiting the amount of these import XMLs that we can on a specific workbook is a good thing. So we're going to create essentially a third workbook. So we've got our main page. We now have our eBay sold data. We're going to create a third workbook and just help with some of the processing speeds. And to do that, it's going to be super easy, super simple. This is what I want you to do. I simply want you to come up to File, and I want you to come to Make a Copy. And where it says Make a Copy, we will just get rid of the copy of and the space. I want to keep mine as example underscore eBay, and where it says sold, I'm going to change that to pending data. And I'm simply going to hit click Make a Copy. And voila, we now have our worksheet. And as you see, it pulled everything over. Now, you'll notice for the very first time, this worksheet or workbook is not, does not have the ability to read the information. So we're just going to simply come and hover over the first ref, and we're going to allow access, and voila, now we have our dynamic URL being pulled into the new workbook of eBay pending. So that we don't confuse these, let's go ahead and come back to the eBay sold data, and let's close that. Last thing we want to do is start manipulating the wrong sheet. So now up you should only have the main page and the new eBay pending data. Well, what are we looking for on to pull out of this new page? Well, we want the count of items that are for sale currently on eBay, and then I want to understand what the lowest price is. So coming back to our eBay pending data, what I don't need to necessarily know the date sold. Okay. Now you could keep some of this and you could manipulate if you wanted to pull in like the auction days and when they're going to end, but that's nothing we're going to do in this video series right now. So I'm simply just going to come to this tab and I'm going to delete it, right? And what that'll do is it will get rid of one of those XML, import XMLs. So already we should save some processing time just because we've gotten rid of one of the XMLs. Now it didn't delete it from the other sheet. It only deleted it from this sheet. But what we do want to keep is we want to keep the item price and the import XML here, and we want to keep the shipping information and the import XML here. But we literally don't need to touch these sheets. Now, generally speaking, I'm going to clean the sheet up slightly. I'm going to just go ahead and delete column F. We don't need that. And then I'm going to take K4 and L4, and I am going to copy. And I'm going to paste that right over the average price because I don't want to know the average price of what's for sale. You can, it may be something that you find valuable. But now that I have count and lowest price as the first two rows or in the first two rows, I'm going to click on and select everything else and simply delete it. I don't see value in it. I don't want to have it there, right? Like I don't want the noise. And then this will also, sometimes if you're looking at these sheets, which again, once these are built, it's set it and forget it. You really shouldn't have a reason to come back into these sheets. But if you did, you'll know that you're in the pending information because there's less information here. Okay, so how do we get this to see pending information? Because right now it's still giving us the sold or completed information. Well, let's simply do this. Let's hover over and launch our URL. And again, this is going to show all the sold information. So we're simply going to just kind of come down here and we are going to deselect the sold items. And so now this URL is showing the pending information. And it's saying that there's 8 pending information. Let's just go ahead and kind of cycle down through here. Everything looks pretty good. Everything doesn't look pretty good because there is a BVG card in here and I don't want that BVG card. So let's do this. It's occasionally sellers want to say, "Oh, this is not a PSA card," but they want the moniker PSA in there because it's going to draw more eyes to their card. Because PSA inside the sports card world, grading world, is generally thought of as a premium product. And they certainly charge premium prices compared to some of their counterparts. But that's why they do these sort of things. So we could simply just bring in the not keyword here, and that would actually get rid of this. So let's actually do that just so you guys can see. If you want to manipulate the words and the phrases that you're omitting, we would simply come in here and we can put it right in the very front. How about that? So we're going to come right before the first dash or minus symbol, however you want to think about that. We're going to put in a second minus symbol or dash. I'm going to put the word not. I'm going to put a plus symbol and I'm going to hit enter. And so now that not is pulled into our new dynamic URL. But this is still a dynamic URL that's only looking at sold or completed information. So I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to change, or I'm going to just delete or get rid of that window. I'm going to hover back over. And when I now look, that BVG card is gone. So we should be good to go. Oh, no, we aren't. We need to come down here and we need to deselect. It's interesting that I went down to 6 and not 8. There was only one card that got rid of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's only 7 cards. That's interesting. So I will show you something here in a minute. I bet you when we pull our information over, we're going to get 7. Our count's going to be 7, but eBay's count is 6. eBay's wrong. Right? We're literally seeing. We're seeing 7 cards on the screen here, right? As I cycle through these, there's 7 cards on the screen. So eBay, for whatever reason, their information is wrong, which is comical to me that our data and our tool is actually going to be more effective than what we're seeing on eBay. It's pretty hysterical. I've not seen that before, or at least I've not noticed it before. So, okay, so we now have pending information. So what we're going to do is we want this information, this new URL. So I'm simply just going to select all and copy the URL. And we're going to come back to our sheet here. And I've already deleted in a prior video, and I didn't mention I had deleted our reference URL. Feel free to go back to the other sheet and delete the reference or keep it. There's no harm, no foul. But in A1, if you have information here, just go ahead and delete A1. And then we're going to paste in this new reference URL. And what we're going to want is the HTTPS all the way back over to the NKW equals. Did any of that change? Actually, no, none of that changed. Perfect. So we just want the end piece of this. So I'm actually, to make this a little bit cleaner for everybody to see, where the PSA +3 plus is. So after the 3 plus, I'm going to go ahead and just delete all of that, leaving us with the not, the minus symbol, not, then the plus symbol. And so we want this information. I'm just going to simply copy this, and I'm going to repaste that down here. And you'll notice it changed, but it changed the font as well, but that's not the big thing. What it did is it changed it so it's no longer looking at sold information. So our dynamic URL is now changed. If I come back here and we relaunch this, voila, we are not seeing sold information. We are now seeing pending information. And the beautiful part to that is the only change that we have to make today for this eBay pending data. Because when I come to the item information, and what did I mention? There's 7, not 6. So eBay's wrong. We actually have 7 pending items that are for sale. Here's those pending items. Here is the shipping that's related. We don't have to touch any of these other screens. Here's the total. And then the cheapest of all of these 7 items that are for sale is $3,505. And let's just do a quick kind of cycling through. And I would concur that that is the cheapest one. So we are getting the minimum price. And so all we need to do is now make this spreadsheet talk to this spreadsheet, because again, now we're reading one way, we have to pull it back over here so that this one's reading this new spreadsheet. And we're going to cheat a little bit. I'm just literally going to come over here and copy this information. And I'm going to paste it in cell C12 and C13. And again, so it pulled over the 8 because it's still looking at the old URL, or it's still looking at the old worksheet. So we need to pull in this worksheet, this URL. So I'm going to grab it, copy this information. I'm going to come back up over here. And now I need to keep the double quotations. So on both the start and finish. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab all of this HTTPS. And so again, I'm going to leave the 2 double quotes, but in between those 2 double quotes, I'm literally going to paste in the URL here that we just copied. So I'm just going to paste in that URL. But remember, if you follow along, we need to clean this up. We don't want this get information. So we're literally just going to backspace this get information. We're going to backspace the hashtag or £, however you call that, the word edit. We're going to backspace the /, and then we're going to stop. But I actually inadvertently deleted my double quotations. So my double quotes I've added back in. And then this information is no longer on, it's on item price, but it's no longer in M1 because we deleted a column. It's in L1 and L2. So let's go ahead and come here. We're coming to our main page, and where it says M1, we are going to change the M to L. Hit enter. It's going to load. And again, we got our ref. This is what we want, right? We want the ref because it's basically saying I've never read anything on this other web page. So we're going to go ahead and hit yes. And 7. So 7 got pulled over. Beautiful. World is awesome. I'm going to copy. What did I just do here? I'm going to copy that cell, and I'm going to paste it down here. So our 7 got pasted, and I'm going to change the L1 to L2. And not 23, but 2. And that $3,505 got pulled over. Now, I will quickly just clean up my text because I screwed that up in the process. And then I'm going to color mine because I like to see it look nicer, is I guess what I'm trying to say. Okay, let's add these links in, and we're going to wrap this one up and get prepared for the part 6 video. But right now we have everything basically good to go outside of these links. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to cheat just because I want to try and save a little bit of time. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. And we're going to bring that dynamic URL from both the sold items page and the for sale page into here, and we're going to hide those. So actually, instead of in cell B9, I'm going to come over here to like J9, and it doesn't matter. I'm just going to click one of these gray cells, and I'm going to paste our formula. And so again, this is going to be referencing the pending data sheet, right? So we don't need to make any changes there, but it's not on the item price page. We want to pull in the URL, the dynamic URL. So I want to be on the URL page, and then I want to go to cell A11. So coming back over here, where it says item price, I'm going to delete all of that, and I'm going to make it say URL. I'm going to keep the exclamation point, and I'm going to change the L1 to A11, hit enter, and now our dynamic URL is there. Beautiful. And now we want that to become a hyperlink here, right? And to do that, we are going to do a query called equals hyperlink. Equals hyperlink, open parentheses, and then we're going to come up here and we're going to click on the cell that we just pasted in the or we just pulled the URL into, and that is cell J9 on mine. You may have pasted it somewhere else, so make sure you grab the right one. But for me, it's J9, and then I'm going to put a comma, and I'm going to put a space, and I'm going to put a double quotations to open this up, and then I'm going to put a open parentheses and the word link, and a closing parentheses, and another double quotation, and then a final closing parentheses. And when I hit enter, I now have a link. No, I do not want to copy that down. So let's go ahead and delete that. And so now I can simply just hover over this and click into that link. And when I do, what is it going to take me to? It's going to take me to the eBay page where the Hank Aaron is at, because that's our variables. And we literally have a hyperlink that will quickly take us to the pages we want to go to. Now, to make it look pretty, I'm just going to reduce this font. What do I have these set at? I have that set at font 10. So I'm just going to come down here and change mine to font 10 as well. And then we're going to do the exact same thing. But instead of the new sheet, we want the import XL of the old sheet. And the easiest way to go ahead and do that is to come to the count. Now this is the reference to the sold sheet. So I'm just going to grab all of this information. I'm going to hit Control C to copy. And in I9, I'm going to go ahead and paste that. And again, the 8 just popped up. Fine, cool. We're totally good with that because we're going to change that as well. Because again, item price, we want to get rid of it. And we have consistency. So it's going to also be URL. We're going to keep the exclamation point. And we are going to change this to A11. And when we hit enter, the dynamic URL just got pulled over from the sold item page. And when we come here, we're going to do this exact same hyperlink scenario. So I'm lazy, so I'm just going to copy this. And I'm going to paste it here. And instead of J9, I want it to be I9. And I'm going to hit enter. And now we have a hyperlink for the page for the sold information. So when we click this, just to make sure it works, boom, look at that, took us to the sold page as we expected. Beautiful. Okay, so let's go ahead and close those. And I'm just going to change the font here to match so it all kind of blends. I think I selected that one. Yeah, it looks correct. And I'm going to recolor that page because I like nice looking things, and it looks like my font's slightly darker. So I'm actually going to come in and select that one so everything blends in. Nope. I screwed the pooch there. Let's go ahead and it is the middle one. So we've clicked that one and we're coming up here to the middle one. And so now everything blends in, and you'd never know those URLs are there, right? Like unless you just happen to hover over those. At this point, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? I want to send folks that aren't into sports cards off by taking off the grid lines. And if you've created your own custom search criteria, say you're into not Pokemon, because you might use very similar stuff. Say you're into Beanie Babies, and some of you probably don't know what Beanie Babies are, but I'm old enough, I do. you might have a year of when that Beanie Baby was produced. You might have Ty as the company or the brand. And then I'm assuming they all have names. They all had birth dates, if I remember right. So maybe you have a birth date here. And then the word Beanie Baby, I don't know, something like that. But you could literally have this to do whatever you want. We now have pending sale information. And you know what? Let's just go ahead and we're going to make this a different color. We'll make this one slightly lighter. Yeah, it doesn't look the way I want it. Let's maybe make this this blue. So in the blue, this is the pending sale information. Actually, it's pending sale, yeah. And then the sold information is in gray. Excuse me. And I think we're good. Tomorrow's video, or the video I'm going to record tomorrow, it will pull in that sports card grading sheet. But I think we're good. Subscribe if you're into the sports card side of things. It certainly helps me out. I do have a goal of getting up to 250 by year's end. It is January 28th, and I think I have averaged, or I've gained 15 subscribers in the month of January. So I don't think that that's enough to get me to my goal, but we're trending. We're trending in the right direction. How about that? So if you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel if you are into sports cards. I also will be doing content like this throughout the year that may help. And so if you're interested in seeing some of that sort of content, feel free to hit subscribe. And with that, we will sign off, and I will chat with you guys in the next one.